to go back to Huberman, so he was a guy who was publicly criticizing blue blocking glasses, like blue blocking
Hmm.
solutions as overhyped. The Roca sponsorship, as you've investigated on your channel, seems like a complete reversal of that. What makes you see Huberman shift as a grift, as opposed to sincere reassessment? Like, what makes you think he's been financially captured?
Well, it was obvious with Huberman. So here's the problem with sponsorships: is that there's no good business model on the internet right now. Like when you're a talking head like me, I'm on the internet. And you're on the internet. You're trying to get AdSense dollars. There's not very many dollars that come in through AdSense. Then you want sponsors, and in old journalism, in old world journalism, there had to be a firewall between editorial and sponsorships. I couldn't report on Ford and let Ford give me the new Ford F-150. Like that would be considered a way for me to write a great review for the Ford
Yeah.
F-150, and you would have a non-independent thing. So that's why you had a firewall. In the internet, we actually get valorized. For if you have a sponsor, hey, that's good on you. You got a sponsor. You must be doing well. So the incentives all changed. Where now, if you break down that firewall, if you lose your integrity, you are now considered better because of that. That's a really weird shift. Now with Huberman, basically what people say with sponsorships now is that, look, I will do a sponsorship that's not in my core area of expertise, right? So that it'll be outside. I'm a journalist. Let's say I advertise a plumbing company, right? I don't, but let's say I did a plumbing company. You wouldn't be like, there's not really a conflict of interest. Everyone needs plumbing. He needs plumbing. As long as you believe the plumbing is good, you're probably going to be ethical, right?
Yeah.
And that would be sort of one way to sort of insulate yourselves with ethics. Or you could just say, look, I just sincerely believe in this product. Like this is just something that in my experience, I've had a good experience with this. Take it or leave it. This is a sponsorship. Now, before the Roca deal, Huberman did, he was with Plunge, which is an ice bathing, Element, which is a hydration powder, electrolytes. He had like a bunch of these different offers, and he actually did work with Roca for athletic wear because they're also an athletic wear company. Uh, his expertise is a neuroscience. He's a professor of neuro-ophthalmology, which means he knows about the eye. He knows about how light goes into the eye, how that light changes your brain. Before his Roca deal, the big one, the colored glasses, the blue blocking glasses, he was like, yeah, blue blockers, they don't really do much. You go out and like you could wear them, but but the real issue is the brightness of light in general. It's not the color of the light or whatever. And that's generally the consensus on blue blockers. Like the science basically says they don't do much, and it's the brightness of the light, the lux, which lux is the received light into your eye,
Hmm.
that matters. Not so much the color.
I personally, I've tried the blue blocker and I couldn't even wear them. I thought they were just really horrendous, to be honest.
Well, along the lines of blue blockers, I think a lot of people mistakenly wear them all day long.
Oh my God, that would be very
A lot of
bad.
people do that.
That would be
A
very
lot of
bad.
people do that. They think that blue light is bad. I think that
No.
the concept of blue light being bad led to a lot of product development, and a lot of people just assuming that viewing blue light is what was giving them headaches, when in fact it might have just been looking at screens
Right.
at close distance
So
all day.
here's the problem, right?
Here he is again a year later in 2022 in his episode called Sleep Toolkit.
First of all, you're going to want to avoid bright artificial lights of any color. Yes, of any color. We haven't talked a lot about blue blockers, lenses that block blue wavelengths or short wavelengths of light. You don't need them. And even if you do wear them, you will find that if lights are very bright, doesn't matter if it's a blue light, a yellow light, or a red light, those bright lights will wake up your brain and body. They will activate the same mechanisms that were activated early in the day by sunlight.
And then he gets this Roca deal and he's like, wait, it's the color. It's the blues
Yeah.
and the greens. And then I've designed a special lens that will cut this out. And it's the same lens that's been around since the 80s.
Roca and I designed these glasses.
Which is to say, not only has he changed his mind on blue blockers, but he has devised a way to sell his own branded version. It's no different. But the thing is that you can sell a pair of glasses for $180, and that is what the grift is. And so the reason the way I was able to say, look, here's his change in blue blocking is because he went from one idea in his scientific expertise to another, and the only change in the science was the fact that he got money.
So to you, that's what makes the Roca deal with Huberman particularly nefarious is his background, his expertise in ophthalmology. That
Mhm.
this is different than, let's say, his deal with BetterHelp or Element. There's a long list of sponsors on his website. The Roca deal directly contradicts what he went to school for, what he studied, what he researches on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
It shows that his opinion is for sale. Right after I learned about Huberman's partnership with Roca, sleep scientists and wellness debunkers started pointing to a recent review article that directly studied how light from our screens can affect our sleep. So I reached out to the lead author.
My name's Michael Gradisar. I'm a clinical psychologist, and my speciality's just been in sleep circadian rhythm disorders. Before we started collecting data, we had to take some measurements of the amount of lux coming from that screen of the iPad. And I was taking those measurements. I was in one of the sleep lab bedrooms. All the lights were off. I had the lux meter, and I had the screen, and I had a fully upright white content in the background, and I was only getting about 50 lux, which was so low. Like when we try to change someone's circadian rhythms therapeutically, we're trying to use like 500 or 1,000 lux from an artificial source. So I actually had to sort of bend my knees as I'm sitting upright on this bed and have the iPad closer to my face, because obviously the closer you bring it to your face, the higher the lux. And we could only get it to about 80 lux. Lo and behold, when we compared a bright screen to a dim screen, it only took 3.5 minutes longer on average to fall asleep if you had a bright screen compared to a dim screen. It was really nothing. If you look overall at the 11 studies that tested this effect of how much longer does it take to fall asleep if you're exposed to a bright screen, it's only like a few minutes. So why would you spend $100 trying to get a few minute benefit? It just doesn't make sense to me. It seems very strange that someone who professes that he's providing things at zero cost is doing something like this, because you don't need glasses like this. You've got something inbuilt on your phones. If you've got control of your lighting environment, just dim your lights down or turn them off.
I also think those deals are problematic. I think that basically almost every sponsorship deal that you see repeatedly when you go onto YouTube and you get someone saying like, "Hey, but to go to Ground News, go to Athletic Greens, go to whatever." Like, they're basically all scams, and maybe marketing is a scam. Maybe at the very heart, selling things is sort of scammy, and you have to do your deal with the devil to survive. The reason I don't take many sponsorships, I think I've taken like 2 in the last 3 years, um, is because it's invariable that it changes your message, right?
Mhm.
Invariably, it alters the way that you say things because, the money is just better.